So then we get to this step where everything's cleaned up. I have the lettering where I want it. It's on a new layer. The contrast is really good. So my blacks are black and my white is very contrasty. And then I just start coloring, and I'm only using 2 colors. I'm doing red and brown. So I'm going to use my little dropper tool, and I got my red, and now I have my brown. And just the trick is to pay attention to what layer you're on. So I'm on red. And then I kind of think about what the gist is of the story. Like, this guy is threatening her with a gun, which is not cool. Is it more of a red moment or a black moment? And also, what color was the panel before it? I think this is the top panel is a little more charged, intense than the bottom one. I think the bottom one might feel more like real color, like I might have more shadows, and then this one feels, the top one feels more psychological, I guess. So then I feel like I can get really silly with it. So I go a little bit over the panel, and my panels are not straight. That's fine. Who is? Okay, and then opacity, I don't want all of it, but I want it to be pretty red. So let's see what 54% looks like. Ooh, it's still nice and peachy. If I click it again, it's red, but it's not like the reddest it could be, and I think I like that, because if it was really, really red, I feel like it'd be too much. And then I just kind of clean it up. It's better if you zoom in on this stuff, because it's really easy to like think you're seeing something and then you're not. So I mean, I'm not perfect, and there are certainly better ways to do this, but I'm just trying to give you the gist of it. But let's say, generally I'll start with laying a color in, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, let me do the easy stuff, right? Because that makes me feel good about myself, and it's all got to get done anyway. So I can get the red out of there. That's cool. All right, so that already, ooh, now it looks like a comic and I didn't really do anything. I love it. I like Big Bang for low money. And then I can do just silly stuff like this. This gets me going. I'm like, ooh, this is almost done. So I don't know, figure out what your budget is. And like I said, I know the bottom one, I want it to be kind of realistic, sort of. They're in the desert. They're in Afghanistan, so it's kind of more, it really is more gray than red, but it's still kind of a situation. I'm right on the edge here on the left, so I might redo this. So I think what I'll do is I'll make this, this panel kind of pink versus a brown. And I'll just show you, like, I kind of start with a flat color. Like, this is what the, make sure I'm on the brown layer. This is what the brown looks like. Ooh, that's too dark for me because it's daytime outside, I know that. So I could do that color. And I can zoom out too and be like, do these look good together? Just to kind of have it as a basis. I would actually, because that feels like it's interrupting it too much, I'm really getting philosophical. I would actually keep it kind of in the peach zone, where it's intense and then it's like lightening up a little bit, but it's still kind of scary. I think if I change it to be the other color predominantly, it's gonna feel like too separate. And I don't want to take us out of the moment. Ooh, and you'll see it zoomed all the way out, and it's right on the edge there. So it's actually better if I go a little over. I don't want to cut into that color. So you do this sort of thing. Like, oops, I did it again. It's because my panel borders aren't straight. That's fine. But you do that sort of stuff. And then, you know, like delete the color that's in the, what are these caption boxes? I'm going to do it really messy, but I'll have to go back. I just want to show you what it can start to look like without a lot of effort, right? And I'm gonna fix this later. I have to just remember. I'm gonna look at this after the recording and be like, what did I do? I want to be able to use this because I'm legit coloring this IRL, but you get it, right? I know it's taking longer. Like, you probably understand it faster than I'm doing it. Right, and I'll clean up the gutter and all that stuff. And then I can kind of think about, oh, you know, their faces are a little too dark. Maybe I'll get my eraser out, but don't make it super strong because I want this guy to have some melanin up in there, right? So this is cool too. If you want to play with shadow, you can leave some of it. But I'm like, I just want to see where they are and make it, basically, if you have like a dark tone, a light tone, a base tone, and like a couple of other ones, it can start to look finished really fast, which is delightful because you probably have lots of pages to do. Ooh, look, and see, in this version, I didn't color in the mountain. I really need to do that with a black. Whoops. They're not the same ethnicity. I think she's kind of white, so she could be paler. So just go back in with the eraser. And also she's our main character, so if there's a little more contrast there, that's actually wonderful. But yeah, pay attention to like what demographic you're drawing. Oh, and she also, crazy enough, she's like, I forget how old she is, but oh no, boogers. She has white hair, which is crazy, but I don't want to make it, it looks like it's pure white, but it's actually a little bit off. I don't want to take everything out. That'll also draw our eye up there in theory, right? Kinda, and it's not perfect, right? I would actually just use a smaller brush. Oh. The only drag about doing this, and I don't know if the rules are the same in Procreate, is like if you have the opacity turned down, but not all the way, and you lift up your stylus and then put it down again, it takes off more than you want. I don't know how to describe it, and I don't want to do it because it's irritating. But like, right? And then like, no, I just wanted this. Okay, so and I do Control S, which is save. But that's a start. And then what I'll do also, I'd probably erase all the lights and adjust some, like make this everything slightly different in tone, and then figure out like what could be darker. Their camis are kind of like a beige color, but I'm like, should the, like I might go back in this wall with an eraser and make it lighter. But now that I have the brown out, just to show y'all, you know, what you can do with it. Like I could do shadows in here if I want to. I'm being really silly. But that's a great way to like, I don't know, like fix something up, but even when I don't know where the light's coming from or what I'm doing exactly, it just starts to make stuff look really real really fast, even if you're, you know, kind of coloring like an animator almost. Like that looks a little weird, but it also works. So I was like, oh, what about that? It's on a separate layer, so like the stakes are lower. But let's say, just showing you, like, it's nice if you have two colors and one of them is darker than the other, because then you can really have like a dark color versus a light color. And then if you've looked at like those film noir stills, you can be like, oh, it's this like really funky lighting effect. I would do stuff a bit more careful than this, but I don't know. I mean, it works great. Like we read stuff so fast, it's like not even funny. So if it works, it's like rocking. Yeah, but look, now this is like more dramatic, so into it. And then yeah, she got a little bit more light there. Oh, so scary. I love it. And then maybe I'll just be like sarcastically, like maybe his shadow goes. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. But you can do stuff like, oh, maybe there's a shadow here. And if you go over, which of course you will, no one can color in the lines, you can always like tidy it up and then it looks really cool, right? So that really cool, sort of loosely. But we're already starting to see some depth without a lot of color. This is basically like 2 or 3 tones, that's it. But I would do stuff a little more involved in that. Let me y'all saw some of these on the network already, but let's see, like here's one. They're kind of all in progress. I'll probably go back and do more shadows, but here's this is like where they kind of start. And then I would probably do like a drop shadow in brown and here, right? More shadow there. So you can start to see, oh, make this lighter. This one's kind of midway through.